every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen, in the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.
How you doing, Rob?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you, Chuck?
I'm great.
Welcome, everybody, to the Morning Dinner Podcast. Today we got our good buddy, Robert Machado of Machado Visuals in the house.
What's up?
Joined with me is my co-host at Chuck and LV.
Oh.
You want to give yourself a little intro, bro?
Yeah, that was a good intro.
Sorry, guys.
Jeez.
I got to switch the cameras.
I got to get a new co-host.
Eat that.
So today we're here to talk to our buddy, Robert. Wait, are you getting up?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, okay. Wait, we're still going though, right?
Pause.
Okay, so today we got our good buddy, Robert Machado. He's an independent filmmaker, content creator, YouTuber, podcaster, does it all. And we want to talk to him about why he does what he does, who he is, what inspired him, kind of his motives and everything. And first question for you, Rob.
What's up?
Is that a red?
Yo, it's red.
Can you explain why that's funny?
Yo, so yeah, on my Instagram, I'm known for like always saying, "Is that a red?" or like asking, "Is that a red?" It's red. I just kind of make fun of red a lot, and that kind of came from my camera rig myself. My personal camera rig is like so. It's a lot. It's like a lot going on, and once you see it in person, it's just like a lot going on. It's like a pretty big package. So like people that see my camera out in public, they'll like come up to me and they'll ask me, "Yo, is that a red?"
Now, what's a red?
The red is the best camera system in the world, Keem. Don't you know this? Anybody knows this.
Yeah, everybody who's anybody in the film industry uses a red.
Yeah. So yeah, people will just ask me, "Yo, is that a red?" But like clearly says Sony like on the side. It's like,
Hey, for the longest time, I thought red, or was it? I thought
Red was
Sony owned.
yeah.
I thought
really?
Sony owned red. I thought it was a red Sony for the longest time.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I probably just it's just because people see big cameras, they think, "Oh man, that must be red."
I think it mostly comes from people who don't really deal with cameras a lot.
Right.
And they see it,
not their
but they
fault.
just know that their
Right.
favorite rapper, their video was shot in a red, right?
Yeah, they see anything cool and they see that logo. They're like, red. Okay, wow, that must be like the most high end thing there is. So they just it's like kind of that brand association thing.
What's the cheapest and what's the most expensive red there is?
Red
you know?
Raven? Red Raven's the cheapest.
So the
we were trying to
Monstro is, I think, the most expensive.
Yeah,
What's a Monstro?
The Monstro is bigger than the VistaVision sensor, so it's like it's
It's
huge.
Monstro.
It's a monstrous sensor, size sensor. Yeah, it's.
I saw Jacob Owens post a photo of it, and I thought that was just like a custom thing. I didn't know that was a
no,
actual
it's
camera.
So it's different. Like red bodies have different sensors. Red kind of markets their cameras so that they're modular and that you can have the same style body but different sensors inside that body. And so depending on what you want or what you need, like the new Gemini's out, the old Dragon is still.
So what would
kicking.
the Helium be? Is that another one?
The Helium was the latest one before the Monstro came
Yeah.
out. So the Helium was like kind of pretty good in low light. The 8K.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty
Bro.
good in low light.
It's
You're talking about an 8K sensor, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all just pixels, you know. So that's why
I'm a pixel peeper.
that's why I kind of poke fun at red and that. And also my cinematography mentor, he kind of instilled that into me too. He was I wouldn't say salty, but he would always jab kind of poke fun at red because red has always been so concerned with the quantity of pixels, not so much quality.
The quality
of
of the pin, yeah.
And that's why Arri, their Alexa cameras, for years and up until recently has stuck with 1080p because their sensors so like they didn't need to jam so much information inside the sensor, and that's why they kept it at 1080 because it was just a beautiful looking image, and there was really no need for higher scale resolutions. So
I just had an artist hit me up today, and he goes, "Hey man, we're shooting a music video in November, and I don't care what we got to do, but I want you to use a red."
I want you to
was
use
like-
red. See, it's
I was
all
like, all right, man.
It all comes
Brand
back to that
association.
brand association. It's like people see the name and people think, you know, it's the latest end all be all, you know, end goal kind of thing. Like I see people all the time, like, my dream is to own a red camera, and it's like, dude, you should kind of dream bigger, man. You know, it's like reds they're great cameras, but at the same time, like it's a tool, you know, it's a box, you know, there are different tools for different jobs, and it really just depends on what the project needs and go from there.
Well, clearly this video was not brought to you by Red.
Damn it. But it was brought to you by Arri. Alexa.
No.
Has anybody ever called your camera that?
No, nobody's it's all red. It's all red. Red's like that popular, like cool kind of douche, like in high school. You know, it's like that's just like, yeah, matte black, tactical black. I'm cool kind of guy.
It's like everybody who's in Bitcoin talking about Lambos. I gotta get that Lambo.
Yeah.
Even though it's like Lambo's like.
Yeah, it's
I'd rather have a Toyota, bro.
and red
Yeah,
red, the brand itself attracts a very specific type of I feel, and I could also just be generalizing this, but I feel like red attracts for the majority a specific type of person where it's like, and you can see, and you can try this yourself, and I do this all the time. And when the next time you're scrolling the gram, you see, people post their rig setups. The next time you see a picture of a red, look at which tripod they're using. It's probably a $200 like Manfrotto tripod.
It's a Benro.
Dude, not even
It's a newer.
even Benro is better than Manfrotto. But it's like I see this all the
shit.
time.
Oh.
I see this all the time, and it just depends on what camera. I mean, it's like you're spending 50 to 60 grand.
Yeah.
On a camera, but you'd only want to spend $200 on a tripod. It's like it just doesn't add up to me.
I thought I was crazy when sorry, were you gonna say something?
Nah, I just want to know what type of tripod do you have?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Oh, really?
Right now. Like, I've seen the tripod you have. What is it? A Miller?
It's a Miller, yeah.
Miller,
It's
yeah.
a Miller, yeah. It's
Beautiful tripod.
It's a really nice tripod. I've had it for about 2 years, and
you can use it as one of those jacks to hold up your car, bro.
you could if you wanted to, if you really wanted to. But
Well,
yeah,
what's the weight capacity on those things?
mine can hold up to like 25 pounds without a sweat. Like it's all about the counter. Like you can put however much you want, but like the counterbalance. So like if you tilt down and like leave it there, it'll just stay there without like drooping or like tipping the camera over.
And you put your whole entire shoulder rig on it.
Yeah,
too,
my
right?
whole camera system on there. So that's why tripods are like really expensive, is because brands know that like if you're putting 25 pounds on a tripod, like you must be carrying some serious gear. So it's kind of the same way the film industry works, just in general with equipment.
Have you ever shot a rap music video?
A rap music video? I don't think so.
Okay, I was gonna say, would you bring all that gear to a rap video?
It depends.
You should just bring your A65, bro. Just bring I do it all the time. I just bring the A6500.
Well, I'm actually using my because I got an A7R a month or two ago, and I've been using it a lot.
Wait, A7R?
Yeah.
3 or 2?
The 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was more of honestly, it was kind of an impulse buy for me because I've wanted that camera like ever since it came out. I was like, man,
Bro, an impulse buy for me is like a Snickers.
Well, it was an impulse buy. I was like, man, I just love, like, because I've used my buddy's A7R II, and I just love the image quality coming out of it, and the video, the new, just the battery, the new UHS-2 cards, and I was like, dude, I bought
the
it.
UHS-2 cards is the one that it makes it records faster, right?
Yeah, it's just a faster data rate. So I like using those cards because it transfers to the computer a lot faster. So it saves me time. Other than that, there's no real benefit to using faster cards. But yeah, like
but the battery life is longer too, right?
The battery life is like hands down like worth an upgrade alone. Like honestly, like
that's
it's like an A9.
Exactly. It's the same battery as an A9.
Yeah.
I can get a full day off of 2 batteries.
No.
Yeah, so like I don't have to carry around 8 batteries.
1,000 batteries, which are oh my god, they last.
Exactly.
They barely last.
I got
bro.
12 batteries, and I have to keep a four battery charger on me at all times.
Yeah. Yeah, no way. I mean I carry around 4, but I only use really 2.
Yeah.
In a day for the new A9 style batteries.
The A7R3 is that because there's another one, right? There's an A7 III.
A7
Is it similar in battery or is it?
Yeah, it's the same battery.
Oh, it's the same battery.
Yeah, so the A7 III is just a watered down A7R3.
So how's the video on the A7R3? Because on the A7R2, which is the one I have, the video's all right. It's pretty good, but it's not better than my A6500.
Well, better in terms of which way?
Just overall quality, I feel in 4K.
Well, the 6500 downscales from 6K.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a little bit sharper actually. I think the A7R only downscales from 5K.
Yeah.
But you can't really notice. I use it all the time. I cut it next to my FS7 all the time.
Yeah.
And
I use them all together all the time too.
Yeah. You would never know.
I use the Ace, dude. I've used to use the FS5 with the 6D Canon 6D, and I've cut them next to each other. And as long as you color graded the right way, you can't really tell.
Yeah.
But I've used the A7R2, the A6500, and the FS5, and it's like sometimes I find it harder actually.
Yeah. Well, I also note because I've used the FS5 a bunch of times, and I noticed that camera operates more like the 65 or A7R more than it does than an FS7. It's more like the smaller mirrorless cameras than it is the bigger brother FS7.
What do you mean in that context?
Like the footage, like handling the footage. Like once you bring the footage in post, it to me, my opinion, it just handles a lot more and resembles a lot more like the smaller mirrorless bodies.
Oh, got it. Well, I mean, the FS7's what? You get the 10-bit 4K?
Yeah, you get the 10-bit and everything. And the FS5 has that too, but
That's external, right?
no, it's all internal. It just depends on what setting you're on. But yeah, I found that interesting when I was, because I had to cut them side by side, and I noticed the footage was more like a smaller mirrorless, and it was great. It was fine still.
Yeah.
But I just noticed that was interesting.
Chuck's already said that when the A7S3 comes out, if it has 4K, was it 4K 120?
I would wish. Do you think it'll do that?
No way.
What,
You don't think
what
so?
about 4K 60?
Nope.
Not even 4K 60?
Not even 4K 60?
No, I don't think. I'm gonna put my money down. I don't think it'll have that. I don't think it'll have 10-bit. I think if they made any improvements to the A7 camera, I think it would have the autofocus, the phase detection autofocus system that the A7R and A7 III cameras have,
And better battery life.
and obviously the better battery life. But I don't think that they can fit in 4K 60. Like they have a hard enough time as it is, just trying not to get those cameras to overheat. You know, so how are they going to put 60 frames a second in 4K?
They'd have to make it like a
in
full,
10-bit. Like, there's no way. Like,
they'd have to make it DSLR size. Like,
yeah, they'd have to do something. So unless their new low light performance is just like phenomenally better, which it already is.
they actually just got rid of ISO. There's no such thing as ISO. on it.
Yeah, right.
They're just
exactly.
like whatever. It's auto ISO because no matter where you go, it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, so like
That's
I don't
gonna be crazy
know,
one
I don't
day.
know where that camera's gonna land. I'm still probably like really interested in picking one up, but
Yeah.
for my money, I don't think that'll have 60 or 10-bit.
Well, I'm putting it on my Christmas list.
Let's put our bets on the table.
I'm still putting it on my Christmas list, and that's what I think.
So give us a little bit of background, man. How long have you been shooting? Because we've seen your work online, and I feel like your work is some of the best we've seen. Just from the people that we know personally,
Thank
like
you, yeah.
you're along one of the top dudes.
Thanks, man.
Like we really like respect your work.
Like,
every time
I feel clean when I watch your shit. I'm like, damn, this shit's so clean. Like,
oh, man.
like I gotta put on a fresh shirt. I gotta take a shower. I gotta
before I watch your shit.
That's
like,
so funny.
damn, it's sharp. It's like.
So give us a little background. Like, how did you start? Like, what made you get into video?
So it was the DSLR wave back in 2009, 2008. My first camera, I remember, I think it was...
Don't say it.
I don't know.
Was it a T2i?
No, it was a T1i.
Oh, damn.
It was,
OG.
It wasn't even a... So it was the first... So alongside So Canon, back in 08, they released, the 5D
Mark
II.
II.
And alongside it was the T1i, the entry level. And I think you're the episode of Dalton. You were talking about your first cameras and stuff like that. Dude, so I got into photography. And I just... I was in high school and I really got into photography, and I loved just capturing, moments, like any other reason that people would get into it. But then the T1i was one of the first cameras that had really pretty good video. But in hindsight, it was garbage. It was
30 FPS.
It was 720 30 FPS. If you wanted to do 1080, it was 20 FPS. It wasn't even 24.
I don't get that.
It was just a new...
So was it super choppy?
Yeah, so it was it was
do stop motion.
Yeah, it was rough. But also another thing to note is that the T1i, you couldn't change your settings. It was always in program mode. The T2i was the first camera
that's the one I got.
that you can change your shutter speed, change your ISO, change your aperture. T1i, when you're doing video, it was always in program mode. You could not change any of your settings, so you're just locked into auto, basically.
That's like a toy camera at that point.
Yeah, so it was
crazy.
It was really kind of rough, starting with that camera. Eventually, I got a 7D and then the 5D. So
yeah,
it's got better.
It was the 5D, right? The 5D 2 that Vincent Lafayette did that.
Yeah, it's the 5D 2.
That was the one that
That was the
supposedly
OG one.
revolutionized
Yeah.
the whole industry.
And that one it was really weird because that one you could change your settings, you could change your shutter speed and all that, but the T1i, I guess it was just so entry level that they just didn't put that in or something. I don't know. So yeah, that was I started getting into video, and at one point I kind of dabbled in both because from a business perspective, I was like, man, I could reach two different audiences here, like two different, if someone wants photos, if someone wants videos, I can do them both. But I think a few years ago, I kind of realized that I didn't want to be like just good at two things. I wanted to be like great at one thing. So that's why I just kind of let go of photography. So I just stopped taking photography gigs because
Do you do it more as like a hobby now, or?
I mean, yeah, for fun. I mean, that's kind of like the impulse buy with the A7R3. Like, I still love photography. Like, I still love taking pictures. But like professionally, like it's just not for me.
You would just rather not take on those kinds of gigs too and put that workload on yourself.
Exactly. And like all of my high school friends, they all know me as the photographer because that's when I was first getting into it. They knew me as a photographer. So all of my high school friends to this day on Facebook, they're always hitting me up. Hey, can you take my engagement pictures? I'm getting married. Blah, take my pictures. And I'm like, I don't do that anymore. And so I just refer them off to other people, some of my buddies.
All my high school friends know me as a rapper.
There you go.
So, but you can't do it. You can't redo it. You can't do it over. You know what I mean? There are no do-overs in life, unfortunately.
I guess, yeah.
Wait, so you went to right out of high school, you went to college for film?
For film, yeah. So I'm kind of really lucky in that aspect, in that all of my decisions as like an adult have revolved around filmmaking and video. So like I've kind of centered my life around knowing what I wanted to do, whereas like a lot of my friends, they start when they're like 23, and so it's like I had a huge head start. And it just really helped me out in just in terms of like knowledge and just like practical application and stuff like that. So I'm really grateful and really fortunate to have known early on what I wanted to do as a career.
Mm-hmm.
So
did you always have like your parents' support too? Like, did they support you being a filmmaker too?
Yeah, they were pretty.
Because I know there's a lot of parents out there who are like, you can't really make money in that.
Be a doctor.
Yeah, well, they obviously wanted me to, you're gonna be a doctor or a lawyer, like jokingly though. Like they were obviously very supportive of me choosing my own path and doing what I wanted to do. So I'm also really grateful for that too. So
I think that's really important, man, is for parents to support their kids' vision. And it might have been hard back in the day because the world that we live in right now we didn't even think about it existing 10 years ago. So it's like for a parent to have been like, oh yeah, I support you doing video, they have to put some serious major trust in you, because this world didn't exist. Like, they didn't know you could be a content creator for YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you would have said foreign to them, if I would have said in high school like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber, kicked out of the house. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, what is that? You're gonna be homeless?
Yeah, you can
like,
make money from that. Yeah.
Nah, I'm just kidding. Like, my parents are actually really supportive. Everything. So, but I'm just saying. Like,
right. Yeah. No, I get you.
So would you advise somebody going to college for film? Like, what's your advice on that?
Oh man, that's such a loaded question.
Yeah.
I did a series on this on my YouTube channel about this, and I just there are so many videos on YouTube like that go over this topic. Like, should you go to film school? And it's the most stock answer, but it just really depends on the person. And I was thinking about this earlier today. It was that like when I graduated college, my final semester, my cinematography mentor, I basically attribute everything I know to him, and I'm so grateful that I had him as a professor. And at the end of the semester, I just thanked him like over text. I was like, hey, thank you. I just won a few awards from whatever, and I was like, hey, thank you for all your teachings and stuff like that. And he was like, and he responded, he was like, hey man, you got the same information as everyone else. It's just what you did with it. And like, I was thinking about that today, and I was like, I really did get the same information everyone else did. And like, I went to school, like I was in the same classes with a lot of my peers that are working now, and I hate to compare, but like just the amount of work that I get versus a couple of my other friends do, it's
there's a big dynamic there.
Yeah, there's almost a gap. And then we always talk about the hustle and stuff like that, and during school, I feel like I was very detached from the film community and at UNLV, because I was so concerned with working on my own stuff. So I was kind of like a lone wolf. I was just working on my own business and
so you weren't like, hey bro, let's collab.
Yeah, let's do a short film or something like that. I was like, I'm trying to like make some like a little bit of money there. So like that way my network started to slowly build. And by the time of my senior year in college, I already had this like pretty decent network in Las Vegas, whereas my other peers that were the same age as me, same everything, you know, they get out of college and they're like struggling to find work.
Yeah.
So
do you think that there's a lot of people that graduate from college and they're like, okay, now I have this degree in film or whatever. Now it's time to find a job.
Yeah, there's some people, and I thought honestly, like when I first got into college, like that was kind of my mindset too.
Yeah.
But it's like it's for like, it's really about like who you know, and like that's another really big pro of going to school is just networking, is just surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Because like I hire people that I went to school with now, like as my ACs or as my grips and stuff like that. So, like I'm very introverted, so it's just hard for me to go out and just network. Go to a film social or something like that.
So how do you make the connections that you make being an introvert?
A lot of it was school. A lot of it was from school and meeting a lot of those people. And then my senior year of at UNLV, I got a lot more involved. I did like a lot of the film festivals that UNLV does. So that just meets like once you meet one person and then you bring them back on set and then they'll bring their friends and stuff like that. So it's just like this growing network that you just are constantly meeting. So
I've always felt a little disconnected from that kind of like network of people, you would say, like the ones who went to the film festivals and all that stuff. Because when I was coming up with video, like it was just, I just had my T3I and I was trying to find work wherever I could find it. You know what I mean? I didn't know there was a community for it out here. And it makes sense that it would be tied into college because that's where everybody that's like-minded kind of shows up. And
we all still work together. Like people that I went to class with, like I'm working with a handful of them in a couple of weeks. So it's like, and also the Life is Beautiful crew. Like I'm a camera operator for Life is Beautiful.
That's dope.
Probably 80% of that crew is UNLV alum. So
Yeah,
like
really?
we all went to school together.
I hate when I say really. I listen back on the podcast. I'm like, that sounds so stupid.
I mean, it means you're interested, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just sound so like surprised. Like really?
it's a good time though. Life is Beautiful, especially, is a good time. So
Life is Beautiful is coming up, right?
Yeah, in
very
about a
soon.
month.
Well, it depends on when you're listening to this podcast too.
Yeah, September 20 something.
Yeah.
So
I've always wondered how somebody gets a gig at Life is Beautiful.
Gets a gig like as an artist or as a
no, like as a videographer, photographer. Because I've done this in the past where I've reached out to them, but every time they reach back, it's always like, what media outlet do you represent? You know what I mean? Keep me borrow entertainment. I don't know. Like
a lot of it is networking.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people that go to UNLV, they can say that they're working for the college, or right? They can be the media outlet for the college.
Yeah, it depends. It's normally they look for like publications and what kind of reach that publication has.
Yeah.
But you guys are actually like the Life is Beautiful film crew, right?
Yeah, so we're like the official crew. So I can tell you how I got the job. So basically, I was going through college at UNLV, and I think one of the main producers there went to UNLV, and so I think she forwarded my info to the creative director there, and I sent them my reel and everything like that. They're like, they reached out to me actually. They're like, hey, we're always looking for shooters and stuff like that. Can you send me a reel? Blah 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 blah. So I was like, sent them off a reel. It's like, okay, looks great. We'll let you know if anything comes up. So, I think my first event with them was Park Jam. Have you guys ever heard of Park Jam? It's downtown. Basically, they make like a snowboarding kind of event. Like they make their own ice ramps and stuff like that.
I think I have seen that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
I think I filmed we filmed something for the Leak, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
The Leak band. Was that it? They had like the big old.
like
it was a snowboarding
It's
thing,
a
right?
snowboarding like contest,
snowboarding,
right?
Yeah, contests,
Yeah.
tricks, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that was my first event with them, and they also wanted to see if I can edit too. So I shot and edited the event, and they were happy with it. So I've been on with them ever since. And the company's called Critical Focus, and they're based in downtown. And so they do a lot of they do a lot of hotel stuff, and they're the main production company that kind of fields Life is Beautiful.
Oh damn!
So
Never knew that.
so yeah, basically Critical Focus has just a whole list of camera operators that they'll occasionally send jobs off to. So
it's kind of like you're part of the agency. Like it's
yeah,
your
a little
agency.
bit on a freelance.
I know it's
at a
but-
freelance level. Yeah, you're a part of an agency, and that's how I get a lot of my work. Actually, now is that I do a lot of work with a lot of different production companies rather than being like a single in-house guy.
Mm-hmm.
I take a lot of work from multiple sources. And
Do you ever feel like you'd join anything that would be in-house? Like
maybe down the road. I've thought about that a lot too. I think that would be really cool. But at the same time, I was talking about this with my friend a few weeks ago. Like, I really love the freelance aspect of it.
you have freedom. You can
Yeah,
do
you
whatever
have-
Hey,
want.
bro,
You have the
I need you to
freedom.
join my team, bro. Can you join my team?
You want exposure, bro?
Let's
I
do
got you.
You paid my bills with exposure?
Yeah, then you just got to go to the exposure ATM.
Right, exactly. But yeah. So I pull my work from a lot of different agencies here in town, and it keeps me. And like I think this year and probably starting in last year's is I'm finally at the point where I'm like not sweating every month. There's like, okay, how am I gonna make rent? You know, like I'm not stressing about like financials. I'm just worried about like creative
That's
filmmaking.
dope.
So it's like I feel like I'm at a pretty good place right now, and I'm excited to where it goes.
I think you're at a pretty good place too, bro.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man.
I was gonna
Appreciate
say, do you think it's do you think? Well, first of all, first question: Do you shoot and edit all your own stuff, or do you usually, or is it like 50-50?
Yeah, so it's kind of changing this year, and I've noticed that this year specifically, I'm doing a lot more gigs where I'm solely the camera operator, and I dig it. Like like editing,
Stress free. Yeah.
editing takes so much time, and it's so much discipline, and it just takes up so much time.
Yeah, you got to be personally invested, you know.
Right, and then the client gets back to you with all these notes, and it's like, well, it's like I have other stuff to do. So I'm finally to the point now where it's like I'm getting the gigs where I'm just a camera operator, which is a good and a bad thing. Good in that it frees up a lot more time to do more camera operating gigs. Bad in that you kind of lose a little bit of creative control with how the final product looks.
Yeah.
And
But you're also allowed to bang out more projects.
That's true. That's true.
know?
And also, do more gigs and network with more companies.
Yeah.
So I'm really like it's so nice where I could just worry about shooting and not have to worry about the whole editing side.
Are you ever scared that whoever edits it is
All the
gonna
ti-
like ruin it?
all the time.
And like,
Yeah,
all
but
the
at
time.
the same time, like you've got your pay for it, right? Like I mean, yes, it comes down to like how is your work being interpreted, but at the end of the day, when somebody hires you, like the footage is now theirs, right? Or how do you do it? When somebody hires you, do you give them the rights to all the footage? Like, is it, or do you not discuss that? Like, how is that?
Normally you just sign an agreement with. Normally the companies they'll email you an agreement that you have to sign before production, and usually I just hand off my footage. I don't really worry about it.
Yeah. Well, because one of the things I would think about is like as a photographer, if somebody hires me to shoot something, and then like they pay me for the gig, and they use my image in like a big old huge advertisement.
It's out of focus.
No. All right.
Dang.
I was doing some self portraits last night. That's why he's talking shit right now.
Okay.
I was doing some self portraits and I had to put it on manual focus.
Called out.
So you know how it goes, bro. Where I'm like trying to manually focus, and I'm gonna be right around here. And then I
completely off.
took some dope photos, and then
Yeah, they
I
were
zoom
tight.
in, and I'm like super soft. I'm like, oh no.
his ears are in focus. I was
Just
like,
put some edge
shit.
sharpening on it.
Dude, I hope nobody from my job is listening, but I did some portraits for some of the employees,
Really?
and one of the employees was so badly out of focus. I was like, oh no.
Just be like, oh no, I was softening up your skin.
It was an artistic decision. No. So
Artistic decision.
but the thing was, ultimately, it came down to a 200 pixel by 200 pixel image.
Right.
So no
So
one
you
would ever
cannot
be able to tell.
tell.
Yeah.
So you just got.
But if anybody ever asked for that raw file,
you got
Just
lucky.
be like, yo, it got corrupted.
Your boy got lucky.
yeah, man.
So
Yeah.
damn.
Wait, so how often do you shoot?
Um.
Are you shooting like every day, or is it kind of like once a week?
Yeah. So especially around in April, like I think I worked every single day of April, and
Jesus.
once April hit, like it was just a landslide. I was just working like almost every day up until probably this month. So like things are finally starting to slow down to where I can take a second, take a breather, and just kind of focus on my personal life, and it affects you. Just staying so busy, like I as you guys know, I go to Camp Rhino. Like I go to the gym. I used to go to the gym every day, but once March hit, I just didn't go for 5 months, 5 entire months. So I just got back last week, and I'm finally kind of getting back into the swing of things. So like it definitely affects your personal life, and a lot of times I text my girlfriend and be like, hey, yeah, like I'm going out of town, like I've been up at, like, I think last week I've been out of town every week for the past like month or two, and so like I always hated having to text my girlfriend like, hey, I'm gonna be out of town.
Is she supportive of you?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
I would imagine you're texting your girlfriend, hey, are we still together? What's going on?
Are we cool?
Yeah, because like she works during the week, and like weekends are the only time we really have to hang out, and I'm just always gone, so I just always feel bad whenever I have to like tell her like, hey, I'm leaving this weekend again. Like,
Yeah.
can you take me to the airport?
Yeah, well, I don't think I do half as much as you do, bro. Like, and no, I still don't have time. I can't imagine.
It's tough. It's tough. That's why I'm grateful that this year especially I'm doing more of just solely camera operating. So that editing seriously takes a huge load off, and even the stuff that I am editing, I'm trying to find people that I can just outsource that off to. So
Yeah.
I can just,
I think that's dope though, because at the end of the day, like I would rather shoot 20 projects in a month and then keep it going and then have somebody else edit to where, like, let's say it's the next month and I'm like, oh, this project just dropped, or 3 months later you're like, oh, this project just dropped, and you're consistently having content because you're putting in so much work.
Exactly.
But then you
Just
always
constant flow,
you
yeah.
always do run the risk of like, oh, somebody fudged up the edit, man.
And like
How do you
like
use the star wipe transition?
Ooh.
Right. Oops.
but I mean, also there also is that worry of having someone else edit it and having it look like not as great as you intended. Like that's happened to me like more than it hasn't.
Oh, definitely don't give me any of your footage, man. I'll mess it up, bro.
Nah, Kim
I'll
will kill it.
I'll destroy the color grade. I'll throw those orange and teal colors
Teal
in.
and orange.
And he'll turn
M31.
he'll turn it
M31.
up all the way the amount up. So it's that-
Are you talking about the black level? I'll put the fade in there,
Put
bro.
the fade. Film grain.
You gotta raise those shadows, man.
Yeah, man, it's cinematic.
Hey, do you remember that film we saw from Rob, that Grandma's House film?
Oh yeah, grandma.
The
Do you
one with-
remember?
yeah.
The one with the
Where-
weird character?
Yeah.
Short film. Man.
Yo,
that was tight.
that was dope, man.
Yeah, that was
How did
fun.
that happen?
So Savannah Jokel, I work with her a lot. We went to school together.
I think I saw her on one of your podcasts.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that was kind of the weird kind of like I didn't really know what that video was going to be, but it ended up being a podcast. But yeah,
Yeah.
we worked together a lot.
It's kind of like ours.
Yeah, but I feel like you've done you put way more effort into your guys' podcast.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thank you,
But
brother.
anyway, yeah. So Savannah, we worked together a lot. We went to film school, so she mainly acts. She mainly does acting, and so obviously me being a shooter, like I've worked with her in that way. But now she's been directing a lot more of her, like producing her own ideas and just directing them rather than just solely acting. And it's kind of broadening her horizons in that way. So we worked together a lot, and she had a short film idea for one of the UNLV film festivals. And
There you go, that network.
that networking. So, and even that small little UNLV shoot, like I meet people mostly every time I do like a UNLV thing.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because like I in Evernote I have like a list of people that can do certain positions, and whenever I need to hire out those positions, I'll just recall that list and be like, okay, blah 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 blah, and that's how I kind of reach out to people.
That's so tight.
You know how in golfer, like really good golfers have caddies?
Yeah.
Can I be your video caddy?
Caddy.
He's like, I already got Mike.
my AC.
Wait, so that film, did you direct it or did you just shoot it?
I just shot it. Yeah.
Did you not edit it either? Or?
I didn't edit it. No.
But that's such a dope project, the way
Yeah,
it
it
came
was
out.
really
I think that was like the
clean.
perfect storm of everybody doing a good job.
Yeah, it was really good, and
The sound?
I don't. Yeah, I think the editing was. I think Ryan and Cody LaBeouf, they're brothers that I also went to school with. They edited it, and I don't think they did any color work to it. Actually, now that I think of it, so
Damn.
I think all of
Did they shoot it on a red?
probably. So I think that whole entire film was basically straight out of camera, which, I mean, it looked good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was just.
I liked it, man.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was really good.
How long of a process was that to put together? Was that like
Did it in a night.
one night?
Yeah, we just
The
did it
entire video was shot in one night?
Yeah, one night.
But how about like the prep for it? Were you
Pre-production.
Yeah,
So I just got the script. And Savannah and I are really good in that we are always like kind of on the same page. So
Yeah.
like she'll tell me kind of, and that's why I love working with her, is because she's very creative. Like that whole side of my brain is just non-existent. like that whole story.
I feel you, man. The whole screenwriting thing.
Right, yeah, the whole story kind of thing.
I've wanted to get into filmmaking, but then I sit down and I'm like,
yeah, it's hard, and that's why that's why I love filmmaking, because it's such a collaborative process, and that she'll come up with the broad stroke ideas, and I'm very technical, so I know how to leverage my technical knowledge into creative decisions.
yeah.
And
that's
she'll
perfect.
Yeah, so basically she'll tell me her broad stroke ideas, and then I'll bounce back ideas back and forth, and yeah, we just did it in a night. So I got the script a couple of days in advance, but that was about it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So one other question I guess would be, do you think, because in that, I would imagine in that short film there's a bunch of people working together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's a good thing to be a jack of all trades, or do you think you should stick to one? Like, for example, for filming.
I think to a point.
To a point?
To a point, it's good to kind of dabble in, and that's why PA gigs are so kind of cool, because you literally do anything. You literally do whatever production tells you to do. And that way you get to work with all kinds of different departments, art department, sound, whatever the production needs, you get to work with them.
Yeah.
And then that way you can kind of cherry pick, okay, I like working with the grips. I like working with electric, and, stuff like that. So it's good knowing, kind of a base level of, everything, just enough to get you by.
Yeah.
But at one point, you kind of have to really kind of make a decision and decide this very specific career path that you want to go down. And that's kind of why I let go of photography, is because, I didn't want to be good at both. I wanted to be really good at just one thing. And video was it for me. Video was a little bit more compelling in that in my opinion, it's more collaborative. Like if you watch a movie, look at the credits, thousands of people are just run down the screen. It's just one big community effort to put something on the screen.
Unless it's a Michael Bay film, then everything's done by Michael Bay.
Even
it's
the
all CGI.
explosions.
Yeah.
He rigs that.
So yeah, that's why film is such a very, very much collaborative process.
That's probably why you and I haven't made it, Chuck.
Yeah.
Because we do everything.
I don't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm like jack of all trades. I
Yeah.
suck at all of them.
And it's a skill too. It's definitely a skill, like learning how to let go, and like back to what we said about letting other people edit my footage. It's like at some point you just kind of learn how to let go, and let someone else kind of take care of it. Usually what I try to do, and what my mentor kind of taught me, is you just got to surround yourself with people that are better than you.
Yeah.
And so that way you're just always learning, and that's such a crucial part of just growing. Is just we always talk about the hustle, like, oh, you got to work hard, you got to blah 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 blah. But like
Gary V.
That Gary V. Exactly. But even more important, or just as important to that concept, is just the aspect of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Like I appreciate the learning aspect of college now that I'm out of college than when I was in college. I wanted to be done as soon as possible. Like I just wanted to be out of there. But now that I'm out of college, I really do appreciate the learning aspect that I had, that I didn't really take advantage of when I was in college. So just learning about your craft is just really crucial into growing as a whatever.
I guess college is kind of like a good woman. You don't appreciate it till it's gone.
There you go. I guess, yeah.
Nice.
That's a kind of good. That's
He
a
was
good
waiting
metaphor.
for that one.
I was waiting. I was like,
You seen his face after that?
I just lobbed it to you. You
So let's talk about your YouTube channel, man.
yeah.
Because that's another point I wanted to touch on. Is
Yeah, man.
like you started a YouTube channel. Well, you've had it for a while, right? You've been
I've had it
uploading
for a
on and
while.
off.
Yeah.
So you do a couple of like different style videos than
Right.
what I've seen other people do.
Right.
And that's one of the things that even though you don't post as much to it as other people who are posting like
Sure.
3 videos a day,
Sure.
the quality, like I can legitimately go to your YouTube channel and use it as like a library for like, okay, I need to learn how to do this. I need to learn how to do it fast and right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like with the lighting for interviews, the one that you did was
Yeah.
super dope.
Yeah, I have a couple of those now. Yeah, I love
You
doing
still
those.
have to learn how. You still have to do that multi-camera.
I can't even lie. I've watched so many of your videos. I've learned so much. I'm like,
Yo, that
damn,
one you
this is
did
tight.
with where you had the shoulder rig and you were filming was it a Mayweather fight or was a
the
McGregor?
Conor McGregor
McGregor's
fight
after party.
and you had like the GoPro and you were just filming the
Bro, I watched the whole entire
That's
thing. I was
awesome.
like, God damn! Like, why is this so interesting?
Yeah.
because it's a different like perception
Yeah.
on it. Because
Yeah.
it's not really like, I don't know. I like that. I like that.
It's
behind
not.
the
Yeah,
scenes.
it's cinema verite. So cinema
Yeah.
verite is a docu style way of filmmaking in that it's just raw, uncut, fly on the wall. style filmmaking. So you're literally just an observer peeking in, and I think they're really interesting. Some other people don't think they're interesting, so that's why I kind of have multiple short form and long form stuff. Like I'd love to do more long form stuff, and it's just because I really like consuming long form content. Just because you just get to
want to get the experience.
Yeah, because you get to see how someone interacts with another person. You want to see how they set up this light. You want to see how they set up XYZ, or do just how they do their job, and it's just raw, uncut, just pure content, and it's not
I'd almost
produced.
pay just as much money for footage of like a director or a lighting person to just put that.
I think
GoPro
Jacob Owen.
on
I
that thing.
think Jacob Owens is doing something
Really?
like that.
Really?
He's starting to sell like for $5. You know what I mean? Like he'll sell.
No. I'm talking about like a GoPro video of like a lighting person actually setting up lights, just because I want to see the. I think I learn better when I see somebody doing
me too.
it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm a very
just,
visual learner.
Like I'm like, oh damn, that's the process of doing it. You
Right.
know, instead of hearing it or just being like, this is a certain kind of light. Like I love. Like I've learned way more things in my life watching professional people do their jobs.
Right,
you
yeah.
know?
And it's exactly, you get to see the whole process, and when you have a video that's very produced, very short form, and to be consumed by masses, like they kind of just gloss over information, like, yeah, we did this, you know, just to be able to compact all that information in a short amount of time. Whereas, you know, cinema verite is just, you get to literally see the whole process from start to finish. And I just thought it would be a really cool opportunity to like I got that gig I think a day or two like before it happened, and I was like, man, this would be really cool to just document, because like I mean we used a Teradek to send a wireless video feed to
Their outputs,
the nightclub screens, and I was like,
that shit was so tight.
I don't think that's really ever been done before. So I just thought it would be cool to capture that, and I think eventually I would love to do some stuff like that with interviews. Because
did you offer that to them? Were you like, oh, maybe we can like hook up the Teradek?
No,
to the...
they contacted me specifically for, like, one of my friends, Tony. He does basically does all the nightclub stuff as a photographer. He reached out to me. He was like, hey, we want to use your Teradek because we want to send this live signal. So they contacted me specifically because I had a piece of equipment.
They're like, yo, man, there's this thing that's never been done before.
It was pretty cool too. It was a wild time.
I think good behind the scenes is like really important, man. Like, do you know have you watched that movie Annabelle Creation?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay,
I know what you're talking about.
So the Annabelle is basically Annabelle 2,
right,
and the whole James Wong thing. It was directed by Dave. That's what I was doing on my iPad right now. I was looking up his name, David Sandberg.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy who did the movie on Vimeo. It was like a short film. It was like a 5-minute thing where it's called Lights Out or something like that, where he flips a switch and then he turns it back on, and then the face is right there staring at you. That got turned into an actual movie called Lights Out. I haven't seen that one, but
I haven't seen the movie.
I heard it's cool.
I'm too scared. I hate horror movies.
Oh,
really?
my god.
I appreciate them, but
Anyway, but what I was getting to was the fact that he actually went on Film Riot and he did an entire interview.
Yep, I've seen it.
And then he's done like a podcast where he chops it down like, yo, here's this multi-million-dollar budget movie that I got to work on as a Vimeo director
awesome.
kind of guy. Like, here's how we did these shots. And these shots were actually filmed on a GH5. You know what I mean? Like to hear stuff like that, it's like, it just puts a fire under my butt, man. It's like, wow.
It's empowering. It's empowering for sure.
To feel that, okay, so they did. And he was even talking about how on set, they sometimes would take hours to get a certain shot just because of how much they had to reset lighting and all that stuff. And he's like, no, I just want to get it real quick. You know what I mean? And he kind of took that mentality into making Annabelle Creation.
That's really cool.
And that's how he's able to get a lot of cool shots.
That's awesome.
So if you, I got Blu-ray, bro. If you want to watch it right now, right after this podcast,
Get some popcorn.
I got some popcorn.
Okay.
Some popcorn.
I was gonna ask, why did you go with the FS7? Why was that the camera?
So I this was about 2 years ago. I was bouncing back and forth because at the time I was with the GH4. That was kind of my main camera, and I wanted to upgrade, and I was bouncing back and forth between so many different cameras. At first it was a C100 Mark II, and then I was like, oh no, I really want an Ursa Mini Pro, or the Pro wasn't even out yet. The Ursa Mini 4.6.
That would have been a mistake.
I've seen some amazing things come from that camera.
Yeah,
if you know,
I've seen
it's
some
not the
amazing
tool.
footage come off an iPhone 7. That movie I was telling you about was shot on an iPhone 7.
There's a filmer I just did a podcast, I think, I just listened to a podcast about the people who make the mobile app for filmmaking.
Oh, Filmic Pro?
Filmic, yeah.
Yeah,
they just did. I was just listening to them on a podcast, and it was actually really interesting.
One of these days
with the moment lenses and shit.
Yeah,
Ooh,
moment lenses.
The
are awesome.
anamorphic
yeah.
ones?
Yeah.
I got a little fisheye one. That's it.
But yeah, I was bouncing back and forth in between cameras, and at one point I was like, okay, FS5. I put a stamp on it. I'm like, all right, this is the one I want. And then like I let it sit for a while, and I was like, man, the FS5 has the buffered slow-mo. And I was like, I use slow-mo a lot. So I was like, at that point, that was the deal breaker for me. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait a little bit more, wait a few more months, whatever. And I'll save up that little extra bit more for the FS7 because it has the unbuffered slow motion. And
How many frames per second?
Which one? The
FS7?
It goes up to 60 or 180.
The FS5 has buffered, but that's only for 120 and 240.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has the 8-second buffer, right? That's what you're talking about. You can only record like 8 seconds.
And then
at
you
a
have to
time.
wait for it to cat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest.
That shit is so hard.
But 60 frames is continuous.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because if I ever do slow-mo now, it's normally 60.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of the deal breaker for me. And also the 10-bit 422 and 4K.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted that color fidelity and the higher resolution, whereas the FS5 only did
420.
8-bit 420 in 4K, but it does 10-bit 422 and 1080.
Unless you drop another $5,000 on a good monitor,
Right.
Like
And that
Sharp
point-
ass 1080. It's so sharp. I'm like, but I hate it because I want 4K just so I can say I have 4K.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And working and 10-bit 422 like changed my life for sure. Like just being able to work with just high quality footage.
Yeah.
It's
For color grading, you mean?
Yeah, for color, just outputting. And you don't really output that many colors, but just being able to work in that color space in post just kind of really just makes things. Just being able to make really subtle gradations in very specific colors or anything like that. It really helps in the post.
I saw a video that you did on your YouTube channel where it was like I don't know if it was a kaleidoscope or it was like a very big color rainbow projection on a girl or something like that.
Yeah, that was Savannah.
That was Savannah.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was on the FS7, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so bro, that color is so good.
Yeah, I love, especially a lot of my. I'm really happy with how a lot of my recent stuff is looking, and that's another thing too is that a lot of people think that they can just pick up a camera and their stuff is going to be awesome, but like, dude, it took me years to learn how to work with S-Log.
And we're still working on it.
Hey, it's super funny because somebody who like shoots for the UFC, he handles like Aries. He rents out the nicest cameras. But he was telling me, he's like, real talk, dog. He's like, if you can handle S-Log, he's like, everything else would be easy.
Yeah.
Because he's like, that's the hardest.
Yeah,
thing
I've
to
heard that
fucking deal
from
with.
like legit colorists.
S-Log
too.
2 or S-Log 3?
Just S-Log,
S-Log in general.
Yeah.
Because you have to overexpose and all that shit. I'm like, damn.
Well, it depends. You can expose it differently, and I expose mostly everything that I do, I expose normally. The FS7 has a base ISO of 2000. So, and a lot of people complain, oh, it's so noisy, but it's like if you look at some of my stuff, it's like it doesn't look noisy to me. Like,
Yeah.
I've had people ask me, have you used noise or like what noise? I don't use noise
I
reduction.
don't think I've ever used a
That's
noise
crazy.
reduction. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a personal.
Here's
fan
the
of
thing,
S-Log.
though, man, is if you know how to light, you don't really need to worry about shooting that high. People are like, oh, but I want to shoot at 10,000 ISO.
Low
It's like,
light. I need the low light.
well, all right, you must be like just shooting nightclub or something. Then,
That's why I like it, because I shoot dark ass fucking bars and I can't set up lights. So
if you're like, that's why the AE7 like it's specifically good for that kind of stuff too. But it just depends. There are some clubs that are just lit really shittily, and there are other clubs like Dre's that are just have tons of light.
$1 million worth of lighting.
So
like,
They
yeah,
actually give you a headset to talk to the lighting guy. He's like, all right, bro, just hook me up real quick.
exactly. So yeah, it really just depends. So I forgot where we started off of it.
I think we were talking about
the
your...
FS7.
No, you brought up the
coloring.
FS7. I was talking about his YouTube channel.
Nobody cares about your question, bro.
Ooh,
Fuck off.
damn.
Dang.
That's the morning dinner.
That's a curveball for you.
So which one do you want to answer first? The
I don't
YouTube
know.
or the FS7?
You just throw a question at me, and I'll try to remember.
You want paper, rock, scissors for the question?
Yeah, let's
Ready-
go.
ready?
No, you go.
No,
Come
we
on,
gotta
dog,
go at
you're
the same
wasting
time.
time.
Come on.
People. Okay.
Paper, rock, scissors.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
What was the question?
I had bro, I got scissors. You had rock. You win. You can ask him whatever you want about the FS7.
Oh yeah.
Oh, done.
Yeah.
So,
Go, Keem.
going back to going back to your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Do you see that as being like something you want to one day do full time, or is that kind of just like for fun? I'm doing it here.
No,
and there?
I don't know. And going back to what you said about how a lot of people just chug out content, just on a biweekly or just even daily sometimes basis.
Yeah,
it's because
it becomes a job.
It is their job. They don't. I'm lucky enough to where I can do it just for fun. Then that's why I do it, just because it's fun for me personally. And I'm fortunate enough to where I have enough freelance gig. I do this full time. I do production like full time. So I'm lucky in that I have actual production experience, and it's hard finding good quality information on YouTube. Because the people that actually have good information are working. They're just not interested in YouTube. And the people that a lot of the content creators on YouTube who are putting out content, a lot of them learned from YouTube.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing at all, but
it's a revolving cycle.
Yeah, I exactly. And I read this really good Reddit comment once, and it said that if all you learn is from YouTube, then that's the only level that you'll be able to achieve.
Damn.
And it's it's true in a sense, but it's just really hard just sifting through all the stuff, because a lot of people just have different motivations, whether they're sponsored or it's the ad revenue, whatever. And that was the big reason that I kind of got into YouTube, is because I was just sick and tired of seeing all these videos with just BS information. So I wanted to make the videos that I wanted to see. And that's kind of why I started kind of taking it a little bit more seriously. And also I had a lot more free time towards the beginning of the year, and that's why right now it's I haven't really been posting a lot, just because I've obviously been busy, but that's one of the big reasons I started doing YouTube content, is because I just wasn't having what a lot of the people were saying.
I feel that, man. Sometimes you can also burn yourself out on it.
Absolutely.
If you're doing it too much.
On anything.
Let's talk about, on your YouTube channel, you also have a podcast.
Yeah.
Which is called Pictures Up.
Yeah.
Which is honestly one of the things that inspired us to start our podcast. That's as well.
Awesome.
We've been wanting to start it, but when we saw yours, we're like, wait a minute, there's like, this can actually be done. So somebody's doing it right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, also, it sounds good, and it's just I think that the thing that really inspired me was the fact that you can get to know people you haven't met before,
right?
That are also locally. You know what I mean? It doesn't.
And that's why I love listening to your guys' podcast too. It's kind of the same thing. Like all these different locals, I just love hearing their stories. And
the crazy thing is, you might hear somebody talk about someone you've never met, but they probably know a couple of people that you know too. You know what I mean? So let's talk about your podcast, Pictures Up, which is incredible. Like, I love how you don't do it at a set place. It's always at a new place,
like
right? The one that you and Rosemary did at the Vesta coffee shop.
Yeah,
that was dope.
Yeah, that was. I think that was the first one, wasn't it?
That might have been the first.
I think that was the first one. So.
Yeah.
It kind of revolves around this idea of me just talking to other creatives, and basically the same thing you guys are doing. And I just wanted to kind of pick their brains, and what I try to do is I try to have each episode revolve around a specific topic. Like Rosemary's was networking, Mike's was weddings, like getting work in weddings, and each kind of episode has one very kind of centralized topic, but like I said, I've been pretty busy, so it's been kind of been on the back burner.
Yeah.
So I recorded a few episodes a month or two ago, but I might have to redo them. So.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more, man, because the ones you have put out have been fire, bro.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
need to see more editing YouTube videos too, because I watched all of them. I was like, I learned some shit too. I think it was like, I don't know if you do it, but like you have like your project clips in one timeline above, and then you have your editing.
Yeah, the pancake.
And you can just go up and down. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I've been using that. I was like that.
Yeah. There are a lot of different. And I used to do a lot of live streams too. And then that was really cool. And because I mainly started the live stream. I did live stream editing, and that was to Facebook at first, like a few years ago, and that was just because I thought Facebook Live was really cool, but I didn't have anything to stream, so I was like, okay, well, I'm editing this video anyway, might as well just stream it. And then people started like watching them, like just friends that had no involvement in film at all. They're like, dude, it's so cool just seeing the process.
Honestly, I don't think anybody besides you has ever done that, bro, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know anybody, I don't know everybody in the world, but like yours was the first one I've ever seen somebody do something like that, where it was multiple like screens.
Yeah.
And it was like you could see
I had a really
your
ridiculous
workflow.
setup. Yeah, exactly.
The audio came in crisp, but you can also hear the audio from the timeline, but it wasn't overpowering. Like it went a lot into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just quality, man.
Yeah, I mean that's what I try to do
Shit.
with basically everything I do. So, and that's why like it was really cool because on my YouTube channel I posted. I think the last time I posted a video was probably a month or two ago. I did a review on the Easy Rig or something, and I was like, oh, apologies, I haven't been posting a lot, blah blah blah. I've been really busy with work, and then I got like a bunch of comments that were like, hey, don't apologize. Like we'd rather you put out quality stuff rather than just chugging out content.
Rather than what's in my camera bag. This one's
exactly right.
top 5 free preset. Let's
Top 5 tips to make your footage cinematic.
Oh my god, that's the number one.
I hate that shit. Or how to get followers on Instagram.
Yo, those were some of the first videos I watched though on YouTube, like how to get cinematic footage.
Me too. Like we've all been there.
Yeah.
I promise you. I've been there. And I actually did a video on this too, like about the word cinematic. Like cinematic is such a buzzword nowadays.
Yeah.
That people just like gravitate towards that word. And I want myself to look cinematic, but like that word can mean so many different things. Like cinematic isn't having a widescreen aspect ratio. It's like you can't tell me that Wes Anderson stuff isn't cinematic because,
it's not anamorphic.
Right. Yeah. It's like it's much more than what something looks like, so I
feel people are trying to put an actual thing on cinematic because have you seen some of these YouTubers? Won't say any names, but like whenever they get into like a B-roll scene, they'll just like squish down the footage and the
mat comes in and slow motion, then the LUTs come in and it's
exactly, and then it's like just B-roll with a music, you know what I mean?
With like the trop pop or whatever.
Trop pop.
Oh god, bro.
And it's cinema to me. I've gotten really jaded about the words. I never use that word anymore. Like I just completely stopped using that word because I just
Did you get triggered?
Yeah, I get triggered, and it's like, dude, don't talk to me about cinematic, because if you ask someone what makes this cinematic, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be able to articulate what that
black
means.
bars.
Yeah, exactly. Black bars. It's like, dude, come on. It's like, and that's one thing that my cinematography mentor really instilled in me is that everything that we do should be a conscious, creative decision.
Yeah.
You should be able to articulate why you're making literally each decision of this video. You should be able to articulate why. Just ask yourself why. So why shoot widescreen? I love shooting 235, 240 just as much as the next person, but if you just take it a step further than that and are able to articulate why you're making that creative decision, it will just help the story in the long run. Because that's what we're doing. We're telling the story, and if we can leverage our technical knowledge into making those creative decisions, it'll just help supplement the story, and really story comes first. And with YouTube, it's kind of the opposite, where it's like, okay, I just want it to look good, and they put story second.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the things that I was gonna say that I've been finding out about movies that they've been doing.
Movies especially.
There's something that I like though, is like some movies take they take the aspect ratio and they flip it all the time. So you'll be watching
Mixed
something.
aspect
And,
ratios,
they'll mix it, and I love that because then sometimes you'll go from like 2.3. What's it called? 2.35 to 1.
2.35, yep.
Yeah, and then they'll go to a
4.3.
4.3. You know what I mean? Like
16:9. Yeah.
that's so dope to me. Like I've seen a music video that did that, and then I'm also watching the color grade. And I'm like, they did that for a reason. Like if they have a 4.3 aspect ratios because they wanted you to feel boxed in. You know what I mean? Like
that's
the
really
color
cool.
grading is very sickening. You
That's
know what
so
I mean?
cool. Like I love listening to those creative conversations.
Yeah.
Just being able to listen to those conversations and what led you to making that creative decision. I think those are so cool, and I just can't get enough of those kinds of videos. And it's just, if you could just ask yourself why, I think that's automatically a level up. Like me and my buddy Jeremy Lee, we always talk about leveling up. So like once you learn once you learn a specific, even if it's a little small thing, just how to do it better, or it's something that's completely new, you just level up. So it's all about just stay leveling up, and then that'll just help you grow as a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm. I think I know Jeremy Lee.
Yeah, Jeremy Lee. Yeah.
Jeremy, it's Lee.
Lee.
Is Mahawk?
That is Mahawk.
Yeah, they're doing some big things.
Bro, I've been noticing they're doing
doing some big
video
things.
game streaming now, right?
Yeah. So they're doing a lot of that on Facebook now, and they're also very hard at work at a couple projects that I can't really talk about, but
Exclusive.
but
Pew, pew, pew.
yeah, they're working on some. They've come to the point where they're actually getting real budgets from clients.
Yeah, I would
from
imagine.
big YouTube like brands and
That's
Yeah.
so
clients.
tight. That's like the corridor digital.
Exactly,
Like they hype
yeah.
me up. I'm like,
Yeah,
damn, that would be
I
the
love
cool
their
real
content.
life.
Their content is so great.
Yeah, we gotta step our game up, Chuck.
Nah, dog. We're gonna stay in this little shitty kitchen.
Oh yeah, this podcast is being recorded out of our kitchen. So if it's brought to anybody, brought to you by anybody, it's brought to you by our kitchen.
By our kitchen.
Let's talk about your AV card, man. Your
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, my innovative
that
card?
you know how to bring it up, bro. You know how to bring it up.
Hey, can I tell you one thing?
What's that?
Costs more than my car. Like real talk, I bought my car for like a G.
Bro, dude. Yeah.
How does one justify the cost of a quality cart?
So yeah, a lot of this stuff. So I bought my cart in actually I think just right when I was graduating, like a couple days before graduation. I was like, because I've been eyeing it for a while, and the reason the main reason I got it is because a lot of stuff I did at the time, and still kind of now, a lot of the stuff that I do is a lot of one-man band stuff. So it's just me, and like that's it.
Yeah.
Like just filming and carrying all this gear around. I was like, dude, this is not happening. So, and like I had one of those rock and roller carts, which was like fine for a while, but
Yeah.
like to a point, it's just shitty. So
You're not putting $30,000 worth of equipment into a little rock
right,
and roller.
exactly, yeah, and it has so innovative. They make these like super premium carts that are just really like they're like the luxury production carts, and they come with like luxury prices too. So, my main justification. I remember I was filming this thing in Arizona, super hot outside, and I had to walk. It was in high school, and I had to walk from the gym to the football field. And that walk alone in the Arizona heat with my tripod and my camera, that altogether is like 40 to 50 pounds. And that walk was like almost unbearable. And I was like, this is too much. Like I can't, this is...
Plus, you gotta make multiple trips.
Yeah, and that was only my camera. Like if I wanted to bring lenses or
Ooh.
my lens case or, you
Yeah.
know, anything else, like, okay, I gotta go back. So it's like
Yeah.
being able to take one trip just kind of maximizes it. I'm like all about functional things, so like having my cart where I can just load a bunch of stuff on there just maximizes efficiency and saves you time, to where you can just bring that time back into the production. So
Yeah. There's no denying that it's a great cart.
Nah, it's pretty
dude,
dope.
it's-
I was
yeah.
gonna say,
I honestly, if you could stick a license plate on there, you have a nicer car than Chuck.
I mean, technically, anything is nicer than my car. But I was gonna say you get the one wheel now. You
I
can
do.
tie a little like belt around
I
you.
know I need.
and, like,
I have a
Wait,
booster board too.
What's that? What's the one wheel? Wait, what's that?
yeah. It's a one wheel like.
So
you,
think of
you
it-
ever see the balance?
Oh, the thing that Apollo has. Apollo has that.
Yeah, Apollo.
Yeah,
I
you
used
just got
his.
one.
I was like, damn, this shit's.
I brought mine, so if you want to use it,
You brought it?
I brought one.
What's the weight capacity?
I'm sure you could fit.
All
Alright, good. But dude, it is kind of
It's,
sketch though.
It,
So you-
I will admit it. It is a lot, like because I have a boosted board too, and the learning curve on the one wheel is to me personally.
if you skateboard, you're good.
yeah,
Damn it.
but just standing on it, I mean, it is a little bit nerve wracking, but it is super fun. So
Yeah.
Does it have a gyro in it to like balance itself a little
it's still
bit?
balancing,
Like,
so
yeah,
I would imagine so.
kind
Look,
of.
man, I know the innovative cart is an amazing cart. I would love that cart if I had one.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. The price.
So okay,
So here's
let
what
me-
here's what ultimately
yeah,
what I'm getting
okay,
to.
go for it.
I feel like Innovative as a company needs to also make something tailored to the small creator, because I feel like those carts are sold to huge production companies that
They
have
are.
that. You know what I mean?
they're used on movie sets.
Exactly.
Like
so,
movie
So
sets.
why can't we have something that's that nice for independent
They do
filmmakers?
make a kind of budget option. It's still a few grand.
Yeah.
It's only 2,000.
How much are the rock and rollers?
It's the NX of like $125. Or
Okay, so
something,
let's make
100.
something between $100 and $2,000, bro.
I mean, technically, what's a rock and roller? What is it?
It's just it's just a cart. It's just like a
Is that
metal.
the ones they use in like dining halls and they do the dishes in it?
No,
Oh.
it's like this kind of multi-function. A lot of musicians use them.
Mm-hmm.
They fold up and I mean they're rugged. They're really nice. Like I still kind of use mine for grip stuff, but yeah, it's like you can get $150 on Amazon. So
That's gonna be my next purchase.
Yeah,
then.
we might have
Yeah,
to do
what you
that.
can do is you can get a rock and roller and just soup it up to where it's like a dual stage with
I've
an
seen
innovator.
videos, bro. Trust me, I've been
Yep.
down the rabbit
Yep,
hole of
there you
like,
go.
oh, I'm on the checkout page for them. Like, if I do this with the innovative, it's gonna be all I have. But one of the things that I should mention though is one of those expenses, even though it is a big purchase, you probably made that purchase after already having established that clientele of like, okay, you're gonna be using
Absolutely.
the shit out of this
Absolutely.
thing, right?
And the thing is that with a lot of the productions that I'm on, they'll rent it. So like all the equipment expenses, it's like
You get paid back for that.
I
for
get
that.
rentals for
Right.
using
Yeah.
my own equipment. So it's my whole philosophy, and I tell this to everyone, is that I like to only buy it once. So like as opposed to getting something kind of nicer, like okay, and 4 years down the line, it's like okay, well this doesn't suit me anymore. Now I have to buy another one. It's like okay, 2 more years, I have to buy another one.
Yeah.
So rather, and that was kind of the same thing with the FS7 too. It's like I've had that camera for over 2 years, like 2.5 years now, and that camera is still like to this day the image just holds up. It's so beautiful, the stuff that I
Yeah,
get out
it
of that
is.
camera. And so my whole thing is just like buy like my tripod. My tripod was like a few grand, like
Yeah.
a little bit more than a few grand.
Yeah.
And like to think of spending that money on a tripod alone is just like, especially when you're starting out, it's like astronomical. It's like, dude, your tripod costs more than my camera.
Yeah.
But it's like
100%. It costs more than one of my cameras.
exactly. So it's like when you think, well, it's like if you think about, okay, well, I have this like super nice tripod. I'll never have to buy a new one again.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just kind of thinking big picture into your investments, and so that's what kind of where the cart lies in that I'll have that cart forever. And I'm young. I'm fortunate enough to be young, and my equipment is only getting heavier.
Yeah.
Once you get into production,
You're only getting more and more equipment too.
yeah, and once you kind of break this barrier, like film equipment only gets heavier, cases only get bigger. So it's like being able to just save your body too. Like you think of your body, like you're saving your body all this stress of just just think of carrying my camera and tripod just one lap around a track. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds awful.
Yeah.
To whereas you could just roll
Roller cart.
with a bunch of other stuff. So it's kind of bigger picture, long-term investment, kind of buy it once rather than always having to upgrade every few years, and also kind of saving my body.
I
Because
feel like that cart's gonna last you longer than the FS7.
it will, and absolutely.
Yeah, for
My
sure.
tripod too, my tripod. But I'm actually, because normally my cameras have only lasted 2 years, about 2 years, but the FS7, I can see myself rolling with that thing for way more years down the road. So
Has Innovative ever hit you? Has Innovative ever hit you back up about like possibly like sponsoring you? Because I see you post.
I wish.
I see you post their.
Yeah,
their,
you make me want to buy it. And I
Yeah,
don't even have
bro.
that type of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they should sponsor or hook me up with something,
Yeah.
But
Here's
it's
what we're gonna do. We're
interesting.
gonna take this clip. We're gonna send it to them.
Send it. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, I met up with them at NAB, and actually, I think the CEO emailed me out of the blue, like, "Hey, we all saw your video at the office. Like, we all loved it.
That's dope.
We all watched it and stuff like so. And so now I have a contact. I'm networked with the CEO of Innovative, so now like we're cool, like we know each other. So I'm actually meeting them next month to get my cart serviced. So it's really cool. And also another big pro of YouTube videos is that brands will see your videos, and then you can establish contacts with the companies that you use. Like
Kind of like the what's it called, the last video that you did. What was that the thing that holds your camera? Easy Rig. There you go.
Yeah, they saw it. I have contacts with the owner of Easy Rig, and I think they reposted my video and stuff like that. So, yeah, like YouTube, it really helps in that way. And also that Easy Rig was probably just as expensive as that cart.
Was it really?
I
Yeah,
didn't
absolutely.
know that.
Yeah. So
I thought they were cheaper.
no, I mean there are knockoffs, but yeah.
I thought Easy Rig.
Yeah, I
was,
thought Easy Rig was like the newer.
I
shit.
thought
No.
Easy Rig
They
was like
made
$1,200.
Easy Rig is the OG,
Damn.
like OG, like real
Oh,
deal
shit.
type stuff. So
Did not know that.
yeah, but they have different models. They have cheaper models and stuff like that. But I have one of the higher tier ones where it's adjustable, so it can handle different weights. So
That's so tight.
going back again to the long term investments. Like my camera's only getting bigger. My like I got to save my body.
Yeah, your back ain't gonna last forever.
Yeah,
that's for damn
exactly.
sure.
And that with the Easy Rig, I literally can camera operate all day. Like I used it on EDC, And like I was like I got out, I went home feeling fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like hurt shoulders and
Hurt
shit.
back. Like I got home and I went to the gym.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just kind of thinking bigger picture and how it kind of helps justify these costs. And
Nah, that made me happy. I'm
Yeah.
about to buy so much shit in a little bit.
Can we get an easy rig?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, sweet.
dude, well, if you guys ever want to try mine, I'd be happy to do so.
We're going to your house after this.
Yeah, I'm down. I want to try it with the Ronin.
You know what I want to? Oh,
That'd be tight.
Yeah, those
wait,
are
with the Ronin?
super
Oh,
helpful.
you with the Ronin?
Because
Oh,
it hurts my
forgot.
back so much, man.
Yeah.
After a while,
Because you don't have gains, bro. That's why. Keep telling him to go to the gym.
You got to come to Camp
I'm a
Rhino.
little weak ass.
You
man.
both got to come to Camp
Dude, I
Rhino.
really want to go. That's the one with like the Ninja Warrior shit, right?
Yeah.
Man, did they do like a? Can you get me in as like a? What is it? Like a guest?
Affiliate.
I
Just
think
for one
locals
day?
get a day free.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm fucking go. I'm getting on that ramp wall.
Yeah, you gotta hit me up.
All you gotta do is hit him
Yeah,
up and tell him that you'll do some videos for them, bro. And then, cause Rob's too busy.
Dude, that's
Oh,
that's how I
shit.
got in with Camp Rhino.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they hit me up when I was in school. One of the employees was part-time working there and hit me up. It's like, hey, would you be interested in like possibly doing a trade? Blah blah blah. So basically, me and my girlfriend go there for free, and I do the video content for them, which honestly isn't that much. Like
That's dope.
the owner Julie, she hasn't hit me up in probably since last year to do any kind of video, but like we still go there for free.
That's dope.
So yeah,
That's what I got
we're all
going
really
on.
cool.
That's what I got going on with my gym, but I haven't been to my gym in like 2
That's
weeks
awesome.
now.
Yeah,
How much is a camp? What is it? Camp
$7,000.
Rhino camp?
It depends. You can take different classes. I think the all-in, like you get access to everything's like $150 a month, but
Oh, ain't bad.
depending on what you. And the cool thing is that it's all classes. So like all the classes are coached. So it's not like you're walking into LVC or a Globo gym just with this mounds
Oh,
of
so you
equipment.
can't just run to the Ninja Warrior shit and
You
start
can,
using
yeah.
it?
You absolutely could
Oh,
if you
okay,
wanted
okay,
to,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not like you're walking into this gym just filled with equipment you don't know how to use. Like every class is coached, so you get very kind of specific training
so tight.
on how to do specific movements or anything like that.
Yeah,
So yeah, I love Camp Rhino.
because I was trying to get back into indoor rock climbing. I got all my gear and shit, but then
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just got too busy and I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. I was like, damn it. But I don't know. That shit's super fun to me. I don't like working out regularly.
Yeah, you
It's
should.
too
They
robotic.
have Ninja Warrior classes.
Yeah,
at
I
night,
wanna do
so
it.
It's really cool.
I just need that elliptical. Let's talk about the craziest experience you ever had on set, bro.
Craziest experience ever.
Do you have any
Or
like?
craziest
Do
client.
you have any crazy? Oh.
Okay,
no
one-
names mentioned.
I had one.
Yeah, no names.
I was doing a wedding. So I try not to do weddings anymore, but I think a few years ago I had this wedding. And I booked this wedding through a DJ company that I did stuff for. So basically they're like a DJ lighting company,
Yeah.
and they would offer video subcontracted through me. So I did this wedding. It was at the Palms place
Okay.
in one of those like really nice rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And this bride, okay, first of all, to kind of paint the picture of what kind of bride she was, she thought that she was going to do a balloon. She was one of the high rises. So at the end of the night, she wanted to do a balloon send off. Like everyone gets a balloon, lets it go, balloons go. It's
Yeah.
super romantic.
It's super cinematic.
That's your next tip for cinematic video. And so this bride thought that all balloons floated, like just floated. You just put air in it and it floats.
Oh no way, bro.
So I was filming the prep, and throughout the day, like I noticed people going in and out of his closet, and I'm seeing these balloons like on the ground, and I'm like, yo, are those the balloons that we're gonna use like for the send off? Because like
They're just laying on the ground.
they're already filled.
So they didn't know that they needed helium?
No. This bride. I mean, I guess you could put the blame on the groom too.
Jesus.
That
I put the blame on the parents, bro.
they didn't know that you needed helium. Like these balloons. Like this was a room full of balloons.
And they're all on the ground. Why wouldn't you be like, yo, something's wrong? Like,
Yo, did she
something's not adding up.
did she low key hit you up and go like, you can't do that in editing?
She did say.
you can't VFX this, yo?
No,
Damn.
so what happened is that at the end of the night, everyone had their balloons. And we're on the balcony.
They're all just, like,
3,
limp.
2, 1. So the whole party just chucked a bunch of balloons off the side of this building, and so y'all just sank. And so, and then like I got back to the edit, and so okay, that's just kind of painted a picture of what kind of person she was. And so basically I did the video. It was basically just a short form highlight video. I sent it off to them, and then like wait a couple weeks, and then she got back to me and she was like, okay, after much deliberation, I've decided that the song you used is fine and I would like these things changed. Like this huge, just like also like unreasonable things too. And like also I think one of the last notes she had at the end, she was like, could you download a balloon send off of YouTube and then put that in my video? And I'm like, dude,
Typical.
no, I'm not gonna do that.
Typical.
But I think the number one comment that she had on there was like, okay, at minute 4 16 seconds, there's a filter that you put on my face that makes me look dirty. This is like verbatim. I look dirty. And I'm like, bro, I'd put no filter on your face. Like, maybe that's just how you look.
You're just a dirty motherfucker.
And so it's like, that was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. And it's tough because it's like one of those things that like I didn't book this client directly. So it's like I didn't have that rapport with the person. It was booked through a third party. So it's like,
Yeah.
it was whatever. But I think off the top of my head, that's like one of the worst experiences I've had.
It's
But-
Rocky.
Yeah.
He's back?
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
It's all
Keep going.
good. But yeah, no, that's basically it. But yeah, I've had some.
I'm still, bro. Nobody
Yeah.
in the bridal party knew that you needed, bro. I used to, when I was a kid, I knew you needed helium because I used to, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, she didn't.
breathe it in and
The
go,
girl didn't.
do a little voice, a little squeaky voice.
No, it's so funny. I could just picture it. They're all looking up. And then you're just like,
And then like it was like we were about to throw him off, and then like people, the crowd, like the guests were like, "Yo, like there's no helium in this." And then like you could hear, like I heard her, it's like, "Well, I didn't know that you need helium." And I was like, "All right, whatever,
that
dude."
voice is just dirty. I already. Nah,
So
I
long
didn't.
story short, did you download the clip and did you,
No, hell no, I didn't. I just
did you make any of those changes?
We went back and forth. I did kind of fix a lot of those changes, and then
Yeah.
she filed a formal complaint on the DJ company, blah 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 blah. Like made this huge hassle.
Damn.
So it's just
No
like,
wonder you don't like weddings, bro.
Yeah, I'm a little bit jaded from weddings
Yeah.
right now. So
At
It's been a while
certain
since I
point,
shot a wedding video.
I mean, can you get in trouble for that? Like,
For-
how would
for
you
what?
write that in a contract? Like, yo, that only this many edits, or like, how do you stay away
You
from that?
retain creative control of the edit
Got it.
as a videographer. That's how you would word it, right?
yeah.
You would,
Well, normally what I do is I bill my time. I'd be like, yo, I'm being paid hourly. So
yeah,
like if you
I'll
want
make whatever changes
if-
you want, but I
like
charge.
it's like $100 an hour. So if
Yeah.
you want to add on several $100 more, then like
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
So, like, so I mean that's what I try to do now is just you got to charge what your time is worth. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like do 8 edits for you.
I feel like that's why I'm getting less and less gigs now, is because I'm no longer doing like a package deal kind of thing. It's kind of like, well, I've been through enough projects where it's like, if I do this for you, I know most likely you're gonna want some things changed, and that's gonna be a couple more hours, and it's gonna, and I'm accumulating hours at the time. I can't just charge you $600 for a project because
Yeah.
I may be filming for 12 hours and I may be editing for three weeks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense financially
so it
to do
just
this at all.
depends, yeah, and that's to where you can word that in a contract, like, okay, you get this many amount of edits.
Yeah.
Anything more than that, I'll have to charge you for that, or just right off the bat charge for your time, or like you said, just be like, I maintain creative control over the edit. So
Yeah.
it can be handled multiple ways, but again, that's why I try not to edit so much anymore, and that's why I really like just solely camera operating.
Yeah. I want to shoot a wedding with you, bro.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. You said it.
Let's do it.
I'm
With
waiting.
the iPhones though. Only.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Just do a Snapchat
Just phones.
wedding.
Just
Yo.
get cinematic.
Just with sidekicks. The old
Sidekicks.
school ones.
Razors.
Damn, that's crazy, man. I never had that crazy of a request. What's the craziest request we ever gotten for a video?
Do you want to do this video for free?
Yeah, that's a pretty.
You remember?
That's a pretty.
I've had
Not too long ago.
I've had some of those.
Gary V.
Oh yeah.
I don't wanna say anything, but-
yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, do this video for free, and oh my goodness, jeez, Yeah, somebody had a we won't disclose a name, but there was a guy that we met through a guy, like kind of like your situation,
I know a guy.
and
Through another guy.
and he assumed that he was gonna get like a 2-man crew, for a conference in town, like with multiple cameras. You got the audio, you got it's gonna be 3 days, and it's only gonna be like 2 hours in the afternoon, like from like 6 to 8 or something like that, for free.
Dang.
So then when I hit him up, because he hit me up literally 3 days before the conference started.
Dang.
So then I hit him up the next day, 2 days before the conference. Told him we were not gonna be able to do it, because we discussed price and everything. And he said, "Well, you kind of screwed me on this. I'm probably gonna lose my job over this." And I was like, whoa, bro, you're looking for a videographer team with audio 3 days, 2-3 days before the conference.
For free?
If you lose your job, that's not on me.
For free.
You know
And
what
the
I mean?
fact is, too, like, and it's not even, it's the fact that we both work regular jobs. Like, we can't
Right.
just leave
Yeah.
our jobs. Like, so he also.
Yeah, we have set schedules. Like, dude, we work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Like, we can't, like.
Yeah, that's.
And he said for free.
That's a bit unreasonable.
Like, he was not even willing to negotiate, like, a rate. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a.
He's like, next time I would have paid you. And
Bye,
like,
boy.
Oh, yeah, his biggest claim to fame, or no, the claim to fame on this was like, oh, well, you're going to be filming interviews with, like, Gary Vaynerchuk, and you're going to be filming interviews with, who was the other one?
The crypto guy.
It was a couple names.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't really
dropping.
care about too much about who I get to interview, because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna have any FaceTime with them or get any insight from them. Now, if they're like, okay, well, we're gonna get them on your podcast, I'm like, all right, there's a different deal here. You know what I
Right,
mean? But
yeah.
that's not the case.
Yeah, it's all about value.
Yeah, value. Like,
Exactly.
if I want to do this for free, what can you receive? And his biggest argument was like, oh, well, you just lost out on more recurring gigs.
Exposure.
He said recurring gigs. I'm like, bro, you can't even pay for the first one. How you gonna pay for the second one?
That's so true, though. That's so true. though.
I'll gladly miss out on
Yeah,
those
like,
recurring
if
gigs.
this is that important, pay some money.
Yeah.
Like, this seems like, if this is going to cost you your job and you're not down to take out a loan, go to Dollar Loan Center and take out fucking $20 and pay us. Like, do anything. Like, if this is really your job, that's how you know it wasn't serious. That's how
Yeah.
you know this fool was
I was
lying.
like, I'm good,
I wish you could cash in exposure.
dude. I'd be
There's like an exposure ATM.
balling.
He said, I could buy a house.
Do you want to start a team?
I'd have 5 houses, but
Damn.
yeah, it's like back to the value thing. It's like you're more inclined to do the things that you want to do. So like, I'm more willing to take a lower rate for something that I'm much more interested in.
Personally invested into,
Yeah, right. Or something, or just a topic that I just really enjoy. So it's like all the CrossFit stuff and all the stuff at Camp Rhino, I do that stuff completely for free. Like, we trade services. Like, I go there obviously as a member, but like, I'm so down to do any kind of video with Camp Rhino just because I'm so into it,
Yeah, into what Camp Rhino really is.
Right. And you
Yeah.
know, that can convey, and that's, and I personally, I should probably do that a little bit more, is offer trading services with services that I actually use. But I think that's a really good way to start out with, back to the networking thing that you were talking about, is that if you really want to start networking, kind of reach out to some of the companies and brands that you personally use as services or products and be like, yo, can we leverage some kind of trade and work something
I'll
out?
tell you one thing, because me and my homie do like this little social media thing where we just like film videos for restaurants out here and whatnot. Bro, it's free food,
That's awesome.
and it's like, it's fun. It's fun
That's
as fuck,
sick.
and
That's
I'm just
sick.
like, ooh, you can try anything. And a lot of these restaurants, they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So
That's
you can do
awesome.
high-end restaurants if you want to try something and be like, okay.
Ultimately, it's like you said, it's what works in your favor. What kind of like, how would you say, tickles your pickle?
Those are pickle.
You know what I mean? Like what ultimately, if you
tickles
feel
your pickle.
comfortable doing it, then go ahead and do it. Like we did one gig together where it was like what was it, bro?
What?
The skin
Oh my god! Like, it was like Botox.
plastic surgeons.
It was,
Yeah, plastic surgeons.
I mean, we seen dead heads. They
Yeah,
fucking-
cadavers.
Oh my
You know
goodness.
cadavers?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
How they use in plastic surgery to
Yeah.
actually
I
cut
might have a
skin.
gig coming up in a couple months, like a medical conference, and like doing a new spinal surgery.
Yeah,
And
so
it's
there's
like-
gigs like that where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm charging the full amount. I'm not. There's no.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
bro, it was so dead. I couldn't do it. I was like, because he was doing photography, so he was actually moving around.
Right.
But like, bro, I was on a tripod because they just wanted like, the documentary style, like dad in the corner style, like filming.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, this is hurting my soul right now. I was like,
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that. I get really I seriously have like some kind of condition around like blood and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
I freak out. Like I have
You learn a
Oh,
lot about
shit.
yourself.
yeah. What was that?
You learn a lot about yourself.
No.
yeah. When I seen that shit, I was like, I didn't know what to feel. I was like, bro, I kept thinking it was fake though, because it did look super fake.
Yeah.
Because it's like yellow, the fat
Yeah.
and shit.
Yeah.
And I
Ugh,
was-
bro, stop
there was
throwing me back.
there was
to
no
it.
blood. Like there was no blood.
It was
Okay.
jelly.
It was
Just
just
jelly.
like
It's
yeah, it was just like
gross.
jelly.
All right, let's get off this topic, man.
Jelly,
So to
jelly
close
heads.
up the podcast,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
we've been
yeah.
running for a minute now. Let's close it out by saying, what's your top favorite type of gig to accept to lowest gig? You don't have to hit the bottom of the gig. You go halfway. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
You don't wanna-
That's an awesome question. What do I like to? I like the gigs where the client comes to me with a budget and is like, "Hey, we have X amount of dollars. We're looking to do this. Can you do it?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah." And then that way, I get to hire out, whoever I want to help me on sound, audio, grip, and rentals and stuff like that. They just give me a budget, and then I can just run with that and do kind of short form.
As opposed to the Instagram DM, how much you charge?
Yeah, exactly. I get so many of those, which is fine, and that's cool because I do get a lot of work from Instagram. But it's nice when bigger brands will reach out to me, and I'm really fortunate in that a lot of brands just do reach out to me, whether it be from referrals or if you actually Google right now Las Vegas cinematographer, I'm like top 3.
Yeah, that
So-
SEO, man.
Exactly.
Damn.
That SEO.
So I'm telling you, that helps a lot. And like once they see the reel, it's like, okay, let's reach out to, like I've had National Geographic reach out to me,
what?
Food and Wine. So,
Can you help us get to number 2?
yeah, no, it's awesome when I get projects like that where they'll come to me like, okay, we have this budget, but it's also cool where I get those gigs where it's like I'm a camera operator for like music festivals, like EDC. This past EDC was such a blast because I've done EDC before, but I was stuck at one very specific location. This was the first year I got to walk around and kind of experience EDC.
Oh, that's tight.
And it was just such a wild time, and like Life is Beautiful is always just so much fun. It is a lot of work. It is like the hours are really grueling and you get so tired, but it is just a lot of fun, and just being able to work with all these other like creative individuals.
Yeah.
So like those are kind of my favorite kind of gigs, where I can really express my creativity and use camera operating as an outlet, as opposed to being a camera operator on a conference where I'm just stuck on a camera, just
Yeah.
over coverage, and there's no real creative drive to that. It's just you're a camera operator.
There's a meme online that I reposted a couple of days ago. It was like this girl, she's whispering into this guy's ear. Did you see that one?
Yeah. I love.
She's like, what was it that it said? It was
Something about-
I'll pay you whatever your rate is because I appreciate art and how much
Yeah,
and
it's like
I
the
appreciate how
value.
much work you put into it.
Like, damn. One day.
That's so real, man.
dude. That's like
I mean, would you ever want to be on like the level of like a Spike Jones or anything, or is that like a different type of?
Well, I mean that's more so like directing. Directing is a little bit different from being a DP, director of photography. In that directing is mostly based in your working relationship with actors, and the director of photography is the one in charge of actually shooting.
Visuals
Yeah,
and all
shooting it. So I would love to be like that would probably be end goals is shooting movies and stuff like that. I haven't done a lot of. I don't really do a lot of narrative content. I'm starting to this year. I've really pushed myself to do more and more narrative content, and that's why I like working with Savannah is because she has all those creative ideas.
Yeah.
So she has all those creative ideas, and kind of gives me an in to do more narrative stuff. So I
Yeah.
definitely think shooting and like being the next Deakins obviously would be like amazing. Like I look up to Deakins as like a god of.
Who's Deakins?
It's Roger Deakins. He's shot Blade Runner. He did all the Coen Brothers.
I want to be
films.
his caddy.
Yeah, dude, I want to be his caddy's
Yeah.
caddy. Like, that man, like, he just creates light.
Yeah.
He's like a master of light. So
There's that next level that everybody talks about.
Yeah, so his understanding and philosophy is just, I just love hearing him speak. So eventually, end goals, I would love to shoot more narrative stuff, but even if it's like, higher budget commercials and stuff like that, I would love to do branded content.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you see a little short, it's a lot of people kind of don't like them for some reason. Like you'll see this amazing short film, and then at the end, it's like they put,
PBR.
yeah, it's like a McDonald's logo or whatever. It's like,
That's still tight though.
yeah, I just saw an ad from Microsoft. It's like, dude, that was amazing. So it's like I love those kind of really inspirational short form branded content, and I love documentaries are by far my favorite kind of genre. So I would love to do some really cool stuff with docs and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Well, what about your least favorite though? I don't think we
my
touched
least
on
favorite.
that.
My least favorite.
Or I think you touched on it. You were talking about
Weddings.
those. Ooh.
Did we hit it?
Was that it?
Well, no. What were you saying?
I was gonna say you were talking about those gays where you just put your camera on the tripod and you're.
Yeah. Well, those. I mean, those are fine. I think I hate weddings a little bit more.
Jeez.
Damn.
I'm in the rare category. I love weddings.
They're hit and miss. Like sometimes I'll get really good weddings and the story will just come together. It really depends on the wedding.
Yeah.
So sometimes the story will naturally come to me in the edit process, and I'll be like, wow, I love how this wedding is turning out. But then other times it's like, I don't know, it's just so hard managing client expectations, especially with the bride, because they'll be like,
you're taking people who don't know anything about what you do,
right? And they'll be expecting this, 45-minute, an hour wedding.
Because they're coming from the traditional.
Yeah,
they're coming from the fact that
and it's like that's I can tell your story in 3 minutes. Like let me tell your story in 3 minutes. And
why isn't the whole ceremony in here? Like,
it's like, bro,
it's just boring as.
Because that's an add-on. That's why. That's
yeah,
an add-on.
$600. Like, but probably. I would say weddings because
I just started doing photography for weddings, and man,
how does that compare in between for video?
So much easier, bro. So much easier. That's the reason why I did it. But there was so the bride had like scheduled me to come in at 3:00, right? So I got there at 2:45. Bro, tell me why I can't even do anything with her until about 4:30. I'm like, you could have like saved money by having me come in way later. Like I was walking around just filming, like, or just photographing like pedals on the ground and stuff, like, which I could have done in 15 minutes. There was a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
But then she had her schedule lined up, and I was going over the schedule. I had the schedule in my head already of how I was gonna go, but I got there at 2:45. She said hair and makeup was gonna be from like 3 to 4. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, no, it's not. You're gonna be there from till like 5.
Right. Yeah, and like I try not to do a lot of weddings now, is because it's just,
it's hard.
It's hard, especially when you're doing just solo for video, like specifically. And so the way I kind of get around it is I like super surcharge for like I charge a lot higher for weddings, especially because like going back to like the equipment that I'm using, like nobody else is using the equipment that I'm using.
Yeah, everybody's using an A6300 to shoot
yeah,
those
so like
now.
I have a production background. I'm going to use production stuff for your wedding, and it's like, I charge probably almost like $5,000 for a wedding, and that's just for the highlight.
Yeah.
So and that includes 2 people. So and that's helped me a lot. But it is also cool when I get the clients that are like, okay, yeah, I'm totally willing to put down that money, because like that meme said, like I appreciate what you do.
So those clients actually, when they pay that much, they kind of give you the creative freedom.
Yeah, exactly. They're hiring me for my vision and the way
dope.
that I capture a wedding. So it's like, okay, when I do get the clients that are willing to put down that money, like, yeah, it's
so
like,
quick tip, everybody.
awesome.
Charge a shit ton for
Charge
weddings, so you don't
way
get-
more. So, and then that'll lower that'll obviously lower the amount of weddings you do per year or whatever. I don't know what your goal is.
It'll filter it out.
Yeah, but then you'll start waiting them out, and then you can start doing stuff that you actually want to do.
Yeah.
And the stuff, if you actually want to do is weddings, then I don't know.
More power to you.
It's kind of a rule of thumb. It's like the less you charge, the worse projects you're gonna end up getting, right? Like the more bring your own camera, bring your own kind of what's it called?
One-man band kind of thing.
Yeah, one-man band kind of thing. But you also have to be reasonable in how much you charge and your experience and all that stuff. So
yeah, and the whole one-man band thing, like it's not a bad thing at all.
No, of course not.
It's not supposed to have this like negative connotation, but it's to the point where like the actual like real productions, like they're gonna have some money. So it's like it just depends on like what you can bring to the table, and if you can get on those sets that have a crew of 30, then it's those kind of experiences are just really cool and really valuable. But and that's why like being able to start as a PA, you don't really need experience. You just need to be able to be a hard worker and do what people tell you to do, and then that way you'll get exposed to all kinds of different departments and learn what you like. And
plus you can network very well.
yeah,
in those type of
absolutely.
situations.
And then like if you're a really solid PA, like people are gonna remember that, and then you're gonna get calls.
I mean, you get paid good too. If you're a good PA, you can get paid pretty decently too.
Yeah, and
know
you
what I
stay
mean?
busy. So productions always need PAs. So and it's kind of a low cost of entry. It's like you don't really need experience. You don't need a very specific skill set like an AC does, like a camera operator does, like a G&E. Like you don't really know how to learn how to handle C stands or whatever. You just need to be a hard worker. So that's kind of why PAs are kind of a really good entry level into the film production world.
Kind of test your patience too, because if you're on a bad set with a whole bunch of dicks, it'll test your patience.
And I've been an AC on a with the DP that was a huge dick, just like screaming at me. I've been there before, and it was like, dude, you're an asshole.
How dare he?
What's your best tip to like deal with that type of stuff?
Just if you don't know how to do something, figure it out as quick as you can.
Just punch yourself in the crotch 15 minutes before
Don't
you walk
be.
in there.
I would say don't be afraid to ask questions, because like especially when you're on a set with a bunch of other people who like really know what you're doing, it can get intimidating. You can be like, well, I feel like I feel embarrassed that I'm asking how to do this, but like nobody really cares. And if you just ask how to do it right once, and then you'll know how to do it. So it's like, yeah, I was on the set with this DP that was just like screaming at me because like he needed the SDI cable to, he took off his camera because there were like probably 10 cameras. And so he took off one of the cameras and was just grabbing an insert of whatever, and he needed just to be patched in so the director could see it in Video Village. And so he just give me a cable, just give me any cable. And so we patched in the cable, and the director was like over the walkie. He was like, yeah, these names are like the names are all messed up. I don't know who's on who. And so the DP like with his camera was like turning around and looked at me, and he was like, fix it, and like just screaming at me. And I was like, dude, okay, like I didn't set this up, like I don't know what you want me to fix. Because like I didn't set up the video cables, because they're all routed very specifically to different boxes, and I was like, dude, I didn't set this up. Then you're like screaming at me to fix it, and it's like,
see, if you had a GoPro on you on that time, bro, and you were filming that, man, I'd pay to download.
Dude, I was so over it at that moment. I was like, dude, I'm never working on this asshole again.
So that PA, I've had PA jobs where they say shit and I'm just like,
oh, didn't you work for like a country show or something?
yeah,
like
it was a country music channel, My Great Hillbilly Vacation or some shit like that. Bro, reality shows are fucking rough. Like,
yeah, man.
And
super
all
rough.
these dudes, like everybody was a fucking dick. Like, and it was funny because my homie, he was doing a whole bunch of PAs back in the day, and he was just telling me, he's like, yeah, dude, he's like, I've done a lot of PAs. He's like, this one's really bad.
Yeah.
He's like, my bad.
Yeah.
The guy got
paid
hired.
good, you know what I mean?
It's hit and miss, but it's a good, especially as a PA, it's a good entry. Like I said, it's a good entry level to the film, because there's a very specific set etiquette that you can only really get either like just on set or at film school. And like if you've never done it before, like you're not gonna know set etiquette. So just being a PA, like there's that kind of expectation that you're, kind of in that entry level position. So it's like a lot less risk, I would say. So
Sounds like a pretty good place to stop, man. I think we've been going for a minute now.
Yeah,
definitely.
that's cool.
How was your experience on the morning dinner?
Yeah, this was tight.
Liked it?
It feels more like a conversation,
Yeah,
right? When
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like
Just chopping
kinda
it up.
shooting the shit.
Yeah, no, I was actually just really excited just to come over and just chat with you guys, just because I knew it'd be like a conversation.
Yeah.
And so I really dig your guys' podcast, and like I love like the morning dinner just as a brand, like in its entirety. Just like from the little audio jingles that you have, like I love that, and then how the Instagram is curated and how it's just a constant feed. Like I just super appreciate just how just the effort that goes into the brand identity, and I think it is just so cool. Like it's like I would like it's better than like a lot of the companies that I follow. Just the social media effort and just the design, how it's just designed, and like the cohesiveness that the brand has is just really I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we kind of like took in mind when we were doing this podcast is we've been wanting to start a podcast for the longest time, but we also like knowing since we both do video, we wanted to do it right, and then we also wanted to do it to where we involved his graphic design skills and like
that's
kind of like
awesome.
coordinating everything
That's
because
awesome.
we wanted people to feel that like, oh, it's kind of like a brand kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, you know, it's been a work in progress, man. Honestly, I started this podcast because I wanted to be on your podcast, and you just never came through. So I'm like,
Hey man,
I
not
mean, you
yet,
were on
not
this
yet.
somewhat podcast. You did
It
a
was-
stream.
It was a live stream.
Yeah, live stream.
That counts.
I need to get back into doing that. My office right now is kind of in a disarray just because I had computer troubles, so it's non-functioning at the moment. But
What's
you have a
happening?
PC, huh? Chuck's having the same issue right now.
Bro,
yeah,
fuck.
my CPU died for like the third time, so I reached out to.
What do you have? Ryzen? Or did
no,
you just do
I had the
Nice.
Intel
Oh, okay.
6950X. So yeah, it just died, and I reached out to one of my friends' parents. Actually, they own I'm pretty close with them. They own a PC company in Texas, so they like overnighted me a crazy like 18 core build.
Oh, I saw that on your gram.
Yeah, so they overnighted me this build, and I've been using that for the past month or
How's
so.
that been working for you?
It's awesome. It's awesome. Well, because it was my computer died at such an inconvenient time where I had to finish weddings, I had to finish all these other videos, and I was like, dude, I don't know what to do other than shelling out another $4 or $5 grand for another computer. So I reached out to him, and they overnighted me a loaner computer right now. I think they're working on an actual permanent build for me right now, but
Oh, so
yeah.
you're like renting it?
no, they just sent it out as a loaner.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
so
I'm just
tight.
yeah. So shout out to Doghouse Systems, out in Texas. Shout out to
Can y'all loan me one?
thanks,
No, I'm just playing.
thanks a lot.
Shout out to Doghouse Tex. Was it called Doghouse Systems?
Yeah, yeah. They
Shout out to
they
them.
make some crazy nice builds. So I'm very very appreciative of. Like honestly, saved like my business for a hot sec.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, well, I got a Max home.
Yeah, so all
Never
about
had
that,
issue.
all about that networking, you know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
linking with all these other companies and stuff like that. So you can start to pull favors and stuff like that. So
Hey, Doghouse, I'll do a video for you. You hook me up and helping me fix my computer. No,
we're
but-
trying to set something up with Intel right now. So maybe I can do some stuff with them, and they can send me out some stuff. So
Okay, I get it, man.
trying to work that out.
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Yo, thanks for having me.
We look
This is fun.
look forward to seeing everything you got coming up.
This is fun,
Even though we're waiting for those podcasts, bro.
dude. I'm
So,
kind of waiting for
yeah.
him too. It's okay, but yeah, like I said, things are kind of slowing down now, so I can start focusing more on the YouTube and the podcast as well. So
Dope. Well, I gotta go. I got a job at the Cali pretty soon. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Oh, you're driving tonight?
What? You got cut me off. Ooh.
Thanks for tuning. Oh yeah, my bad. I'll talk
Thank
to
you
you
all for
after.
tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next morning dinner.
Love y'all.
peace.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.